Well, guys, today's going to be a little bit of a longer video. But before we jump into the video, I just wanted to give a bit of a shout out to Rusty Nuts. What a great name for some eggs. But the reason why I bought these eggs and why I really like them is because they have a lower density of chicken to hectare rate, and it's only 50 chooks per hectare. So that's really good. They're looking after the chooks. So if you want to try these Rusty Nuts, give them a go. I got these from the Panini Bar, which is here in Morley on Crimea Street. Now, what I want to talk about today is anamorphic lenses. Now, anamorphic lenses are a technology that's been around for quite a long time. And the reason why they were invented, because they used to have film projectors and the film was a set width, which was 35mm. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to make a widescreen format, so the picture was really wide. And you see that when you go to the cinemas or when you watch a movie on your TV, and you can see the black bars at the top and at the bottom, like you can with this video right now. But in modern times, a lot of people do is like us wedding videographers, we just chop the top off and chop the bottom off, and we're still just using normal lenses. But the proper way to do it is to use anamorphic lenses. Now, these lenses distort the image because it actually fits into a 35mm film, but it gets elongated. So what happens is when they use these lenses and they film, then they put the film in the projector at the cinema, it looks stretched. So what they do is they put another lens in front of the projector to correct it, and then you get this like widescreen. So that's the technology behind it, or why they were invented. But of course, we've moved on now and we've got digital cameras. So there's a little bit more scope for doing that. But the anamorphic lenses are still being used and are becoming increasingly popular with movies again, because they give a different type of look, a look that is not so clinical. It's a little bit more retro, and people are really loving everything retro at the moment. And we're even having really old photography lenses that are being rehoused, and photographers are using them because they give a little bit of a softer image and a little bit of a distortion in the lens. It's not so clinical. So this type of lenses are becoming more popular. Now, what you're seeing right now is what I'm filming on is actually an anamorphic lens, and I've got a whole set of anamorphic lenses, so I can actually do the widescreen as it is done in the cinema. And as you can see, I've got a light behind my head here, and the anamorphic lenses produce these flares across the screen as well, and you can see that from the light. There's a slight flare, and that's part of the feature of the anamorphic lenses. And if you've watched Star Trek, the newer Star Treks by what's his name? Abraham, I can't remember his first name. And you see those blue flares in the Star Trek movie, that is from the anamorphic lenses. And if you've also watched the Dune movies, they're also been shot on anamorphic lenses. And the out of focus area looks quite different. Now, why am I banging on about anamorphic lenses? Well, just in the recent years, probably in the last 2 years, prices of anamorphic lenses have plummeted for the more hobbyist type person. And this is because they're being made in China, because anamorphic lenses are traditionally like 30, 40, 50,000. And the actual Panavision lens, you couldn't even buy them, you had to rent them. And these lenses were prohibitively expensive, and most people didn't have access to them, but now we do. So we can now use anamorphic lenses to film your weddings and make commercials and do all this sort of stuff, like low-cost budget items. And that's what the real change has happened. So anamorphic lenses are having a massive revival. People are getting into them. People are really loving them. And the widescreen is coming back. And there's a big trend on Instagram at the moment to do this ultra widescreen. So I hope that explains anamorphic lenses in more detail. And I'll probably do some other videos about anamorphic lenses, because it is really something that I offer. So if you want to have that anamorphic look, so when you have that standard cinema widescreen, and you want it to be done as they do when they make the actual movies like Dune and Star Trek and so forth, then I can actually offer that for you. Anyway, guys, go over and watch James's podcast, because he's doing some really good work over there, and he has some really great people in Perth on, And I'm really enjoying his podcast as well as a viewer, not as a person on the podcast. But yeah, go check him out because he also is a very skilled photographer as well. So if you're looking for photography and you're looking for something that has an editorial type style, which is also becoming more trendy again, give James a call and have a talk to him about covering your event or your wedding.